Good morning, everyone. Let me start with a simple question. What if the life you want is not waiting for better circumstances, but for a better mindset? Many of us believe success, your happiness, or confidence will come once things around us change. But the truth is, real change begins inside our mind. The way we think shapes the choices we make, the actions we take, and ultimately the life we live. Today, I want to talk about one powerful idea: change your mindset, and your life will change. Your thoughts shape your actions, and your actions shape your life. Every single moment, your mind is quietly working, creating ideas, beliefs, fears, hopes, and expectations. These thoughts may seem small or unimportant, but they are powerful forces that influence how you see the world and how you respond to it. Before any action is taken, a thought appears first. Before any decision is made, the mind has already created a story about what is possible or impossible, whether you realize it or not. The quality of your life is closely connected to the quality of your thinking. From the moment you wake up, your thoughts begin to guide your behavior. If you wake up thinking that the day will be stressful and difficult, you are more likely to feel tired, impatient, and unmotivated. That mindset affects how you talk to people, how you handle challenges, and how much effort you put into your work. On the other hand, if you wake up believing that the day holds opportunity and growth, you naturally act with more confidence and energy. The same situation can lead to completely different outcomes depending on the thoughts you choose to believe. If your thoughts also influence how you see yourself, if you repeatedly tell yourself that you are not good enough, not smart enough, or not capable enough, those thoughts slowly become beliefs. Once they become beliefs, they start to control your actions. You may stop trying new things, avoid challenges, or give up easily because deep down you believe failure is inevitable. This is not because you lack ability, but because your thoughts have convinced you that effort is pointless. In this way, your negative thinking creates invisible limits that keep you stuck in the same place. Positive and constructive thoughts work differently. When you believe that you can learn, improve, and grow, you become more willing to take risks and put in effort. You may still feel fear or doubt, but those feelings no longer control you. Instead of saying, "I can't do this," you begin to say, "I can learn how to do this." That small change in thinking leads to different actions. You study more, practice longer, ask questions, and keep going even when things get hard. Over time, those actions lead to real improvement and success. Actions are the bridge between thoughts and results. Your thinking alone does not change your life, but it determines what actions you take or avoid. If you think exercise is pointless, you will skip workouts. If you think reading is boring and useless, you will not open books. If you think your dreams are unrealistic, you will never take the first step toward them. On the other hand, if you believe that effort matters, that learning pays off, and that progress is possible, your actions begin to align with those beliefs. You start doing the small, consistent things that build momentum. Small actions repeated daily have a powerful effect over time. One positive thought can lead to one positive action, and one positive action can slowly turn into a habit. Habits shape routines, and routines shape lifestyles. A person who believes in discipline takes action even when motivation is low. A person who believes in growth keeps learning even after failure. These actions may seem ordinary in the moment, but over months and years, they create extraordinary change. Your life rarely changes overnight, but it is always changing through the actions you repeat. Your thoughts also affect how you respond to failure. Failure is a part of every journey. But mindset determines whether failure becomes a lesson or a stopping point. If your thoughts tell you that failure means you are weak or incapable, you may quit at the first setback. You may feel embarrassed, discouraged, or ashamed, and those feelings may prevent you from trying again. But if your thoughts tell you that failure is feedback, you respond differently. You analyze what went wrong, adjust your approach, and continue forward with more knowledge than before. The way you think during difficult moments matters even more than during easy ones. Challenges test your mindset and reveal your inner dialogue. When things go wrong, do you blame yourself and others, or do you look for solutions? Do you focus on what you cannot control, or do you focus on what you can improve? These thoughts shape your emotional response, which then influences your actions. A calm and focused mind leads to thoughtful decisions, while a negative and overwhelmed mind leads to impulsive or avoidant behavior. Thoughts also influence how you treat other people. If you think the world is hostile and people cannot be trusted, you may act defensively or aggressively. This behavior can push people away, reinforcing your belief that others are unfriendly. But if you think people are generally kind and supportive, you are more likely to act with openness and respect. That behavior often invites positive responses, strengthening your belief and improving your relationships. In this way, if your thoughts can create self-fulfilling cycles that either build connection or create distance, your environment is often a reflection of your actions. And your actions are shaped by your thoughts. A cluttered space may come from thoughts of procrastination or overwhelm. An organized space may come from thoughts of clarity and purpose. Academic success, physical health, emotional well-being, and personal growth are all influenced by daily actions driven by mental patterns. When you change how you think, you begin to change what you do. And when you change what you do, your environment and results begin to shift. Many people wait for motivation before taking action. But motivation itself is influenced by thoughts. If you think a task is too hard or meaningless, motivation will be low. If you think a task is valuable and achievable, motivation increases. However, action does not always require motivation. Sometimes action comes first and motivation follows. When you act despite negative thoughts, you challenge them. When you see progress, your thoughts begin to change naturally. This creates a positive cycle where action strengthens belief, and belief strengthens action. The mind is trainable. If you're just like the body, thoughts can be shaped through awareness and practice. Paying attention to your inner dialogue allows you to recognize patterns that no longer serve you. If you're replacing negative thoughts with realistic and constructive ones takes effort, but it is possible. This does not mean ignoring problems or pretending everything is perfect. It means choosing thoughts that empower you instead of limiting you. A thought like, "This is hard, but I can improve," is more useful than, "This is impossible." Discipline begins in the mind. Before you wake up early, study consistently, or work toward long-term goals, you must first decide mentally that these actions matter. Your thoughts give meaning to your efforts. When you believe your actions are pointless, discipline feels like punishment. When you believe your actions are building something important, your discipline feels purposeful. This mental shift changes how you experience effort and struggle. Over time, actions become identity. What you repeatedly do shapes how you see yourself. If you consistently take action aligned with growth, you begin to identify as a learner, a hard worker, or a resilient person. This identity then influences future thoughts and actions. You start to think, "I am someone who doesn't quit," or "I am someone who keeps improving." This identity-based thinking strengthens consistency and confidence. Life outcomes are rarely the result of one big decision. They are the result of thousands of small choices guided by everyday thoughts. Choosing to study instead of procrastinate, if you're to speak kindly instead of reacting angrily, to try again instead of giving up, are all actions rooted in mindset. These choices accumulate and shape the direction of your life. Where you are today is influenced by past actions, and those actions were influenced by past thoughts. Changing your thoughts does not mean controlling every idea that enters your mind. Your thoughts will naturally come and go. What matters is which thoughts you choose to believe and act upon. You can acknowledge a negative thought without letting it control your behavior. You can choose actions that align with your goals even when your mind feels uncertain. Over time, consistent action rewires thinking patterns. You're making positive thoughts more natural and automatic, when you understand that your thoughts shape your actions and your actions shape your life, you begin to see personal responsibility in a new way. This understanding is not about blame, but about power. If your thoughts influence your actions, then changing your mindset gives you the ability to change direction. Even small shifts in thinking can lead to different choices, and different choices can lead to a different future. Your every habit, achievement, and lifestyle begins as a thought. The life you are building is being shaped right now by the ideas you repeat to yourself daily. Each moment presents a choice to act in alignment with growth or remain in familiar patterns. Awareness of this connection allows you to act more intentionally. You're making decisions that reflect who you want to become rather than who you have been. A positive growth mindset turns challenges into opportunities by changing the way difficulties are perceived and responded to. Instead of seeing challenges as threats or signs of failure, a growth mindset views them as chances to learn, improve, and develop new strengths. Life is full of obstacles, unexpected changes, and moments of discomfort. But mindset determines whether these moments become barriers or stepping stones. When the mind is open to growth, your challenges lose their power to discourage and instead become tools for progress. A positive growth mindset begins with the belief that abilities are not fixed. Intelligence, skills, your confidence and talent are not things people are simply born with and stuck with forever. They can be developed through effort, learning, and persistence. This belief alone transforms how challenges are approached. When someone believes they can improve, they are more willing to face difficulty. A hard task is no longer proof of weakness, but evidence that growth is happening. The challenge becomes meaningful rather than frightening. Challenges often bring discomfort, and many people avoid discomfort because they associate it with failure or embarrassment. A growth mindset changes this association. Discomfort becomes a sign that learning is taking place. Just like muscles grow through resistance, the mind grows through challenge. When this understanding is present, struggling is no longer something to be ashamed of. It becomes a natural and necessary part of improvement. This shift allows individuals to stay engaged even when things are not easy. Failure is one of the most common challenges people face, and it is also one of the most misunderstood. In a fixed mindset, failure feels permanent and personal. It sounds like an internal voice saying, "I'm not good enough," or "I'll never succeed." In a growth mindset, failure is temporary and informative. It answers questions instead of ending efforts. It shows what doesn't work and highlights areas that need improvement. This perspective turns failure into a valuable teacher rather than a final judgment. A positive mindset also acts emotional responses to challenges. When difficulties arise, negative thinking can quickly lead to frustration, anxiety, or hopelessness. These emotions often block problem solving and reduce motivation. A growth mindset encourages curiosity instead of panic. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" the mind asks, "What can I learn from this?" This emotional shift creates space for clearer thinking and better decisions, making it easier to move forward. Challenges often reveal weaknesses. And many people fear exposing what they are not good at. A growth mindset reframes weaknesses as areas for development rather than reasons for shame. A student who struggles with a subject can either see it as proof of inability or as a signal of where effort is needed. The second response leads to practice, seeking help. Experimenting with new strategies. Over time, what was once a weakness can become a strength simply because it was approached with the intention to grow. Your effort plays a central role in turning challenges into opportunities. In a growth mindset, effort is not seen as a sign of low ability, but as a path to mastery. When something is difficult, effort becomes meaningful rather than discouraging. Each attempt, even unsuccessful ones, contributes to progress. This perspective encourages persistence. Especially during long or demanding challenges where results are not immediate, the willingness to keep trying transforms obstacles into experiences that build resilience. Feedback is another challenge that mindset influences deeply. Criticism can feel uncomfortable, especially when it highlights mistakes. A fixed mindset often reacts defensively. You're rejecting feedback to protect self-esteem. A growth mindset sees feedback as guidance. It separates personal worth from performance and uses input to improve. This ability to accept and apply feedback turns criticism into a powerful opportunity for growth and refinement. A positive growth mindset also affects how people handle change. Change often brings uncertainty, and uncertainty can be challenging. When the mind is focused on growth, change is seen as a chance to adapt and expand abilities. Instead of clinging to familiar routines, individuals become more flexible and open to new experiences. This adaptability allows them to find opportunity in situations that might otherwise feel overwhelming or threatening. Challenges also test patience, especially when progress is slow. A growth mindset understands that improvement takes time. Instead of expecting instant success, it values consistency and long-term effort. This patience prevents discouragement during periods where results are not visible. Trusting the process allows individuals to continue working through challenges, knowing that growth often happens gradually and quietly before it becomes obvious. The way challenges are interpreted influences confidence. A fixed mindset ties confidence to success, meaning confidence disappears when difficulty appears. A growth mindset builds confidence through effort and learning. Each challenge faced and each obstacle overcome strengthens belief in one's ability to handle future difficulties. This type of confidence is more stable because it is based on resilience rather than perfection. Social challenges are also transformed by a growth mindset. Difficult conversations, misunderstandings and conflicts are part of human interaction. Instead of avoiding them, a growth-oriented person sees them as opportunities to improve communication, empathy, and understanding. Mistakes in relationships become lessons rather than reasons to withdraw. This approach leads to stronger connections and emotional maturity over time. Your academic and skill-based challenges are common areas where mindset makes a visible difference. Learning something new often involves confusion and repeated mistakes. A growth mindset normalizes this process. Instead of giving up when learning becomes difficult, individuals persist, experiment with different strategies, and seek support. This active engagement leads to deeper understanding and long-term success, turning academic challenges into opportunities for intellectual growth. A positive mindset also influences how goals are set and pursued. When challenges arise, goals may need to be adjusted or approached differently. A growth mindset allows flexibility without losing direction. Instead of abandoning goals at the first obstacle, individuals look for alternative paths. This adaptability keeps progress moving forward, even when original plans do not work as expected. Challenges often bring comparison with others, which can be discouraging. Seeing others succeed more quickly can lead to self-doubt. A growth mindset shifts focus from comparison to personal progress. Instead of measuring success against others, it measures improvement against past performance. This perspective reduces pressure and encourages steady growth, allowing challenges to become personal benchmarks rather than sources of insecurity. Stress is another challenge that mindset affects. While stress is a natural response to difficulty, If you're a growth mindset changes how stress is interpreted. Instead of seeing stress as harmful, it can be viewed as a sign that something important is being worked on. This interpretation reduces fear and increases focus, helping individuals perform better under pressure and learn from demanding situations. Your creativity also benefits from a growth mindset. Creative challenges often involve uncertainty and risk of failure. A growth mindset encourages experimentation without fear of mistakes. Your ideas that do not work are seen as part of the creative process rather than wasted effort. This openness allows innovation to grow. If you're turning creative blocks into opportunities for exploration and discovery, a positive growth mindset strengthens resilience, which is the ability to recover from setbacks. If your life rarely moves in a straight line and challenges can sometimes feel overwhelming, resilience grows when challenges are faced rather than avoided. Each time a difficulty is managed, even imperfectly, inner strength increases. This resilience makes future challenges less intimidating and more manageable. Challenges can also reveal values and priorities. Your difficult situations force decisions and reflection. A growth mindset encourages learning from these moments, helping individuals understand what matters most to them. This clarity can guide future choices and actions, turning challenging experiences into opportunities for self-awareness and personal direction. The language people use internally during challenges reflects their mindset. A fixed mindset uses words like can't, never, and always. A growth mindset uses words like yet, learning, and improving. These small changes in language have a big impact on perception and motivation. They keep the mind open and engaged rather than closed and defeated. A positive growth mindset does not deny difficulty or pretend challenges are easy. It acknowledges struggle while believing in the possibility of improvement. This balance creates honesty without hopelessness. It allows individuals to face reality without being limited by it, turning even uncomfortable situations into meaningful experiences. Over time, consistently approaching challenges with a growth mindset reshapes identity. A person begins to see themselves as adaptable, capable, and resilient. This identity influences future behavior, making it more natural to face challenges with confidence and curiosity. What once felt intimidating becomes familiar territory for learning and growth. Challenges are unavoidable, but how they are approached determines their impact. With a positive, your growth mindset, obstacles become teachers, effort becomes progress, and difficulty becomes a signal for development. Each challenge carries the potential to build skills, strength, an understanding shaping a life defined not by limitations but by continuous growth and possibility.